Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, and welcome to another wonderful Motivation Monday. Of course, my name is Deacon Irons here at Unfeigned Faith Ministries. We're led by our wonderful minister, Minister Lee Rodman, and of course, our fantastic First Lady, Minister Lakeisha Rodman. I hope you all are having a fantastic Monday, and I hope y'all Sunday was as blessed as well. Now, over this past weekend, right where I'm at, we had a lot of rain this weekend. So, not saying I was stuck in the house, but I was in the house. And what I was doing over this weekend was rearranging a lot of things, moving stuff out, and just making some space, right? Um, some space in the apartment. Not really cluttered because I'm not a cluttered person, but just rearranging stuff. I like to rearrange stuff to make it look a little bit different after a while, right? And we all do that. So as I was rearranging stuff, and I was like, you know what, I don't want this here or this here. I could get rid of this and all this other stuff. It kind of brought to light, right, of how we need to clear the clutter. I'll just say the clutter, and make a room for spiritually within ourselves, and getting rid of the stuff that's within us that takes up a lot of space, right? So our life gets spiritually cluttered, right? Because we, just like our homes and like even on our desk, our hearts can get cluttered with a lot of things that don't belong there. All right, we fill our hearts with all kind of stuff. We worry a lot. We get distracted, right? Life in general, because we all get busy doing different things. Even good things can crowd our space. And I know Minister Robin touched on it yesterday. Um, don't get distracted by the good things. Uh, we could get distracted by some good things and all this other stuff that just really clutters our spirit and our heart. Now, like David, right? I always go back to this, Psalm 51, where David prayed, for God to provide him with a clean heart, spiritually, renewing him and all this other stuff, right? And not just for forgiveness, but for transformation as well. And many of us struggle and have a lot of things in our heart right now that that doesn't need to be there. So we as Christians and in general as humans, we just need to clean our heart and our spirit, and to make room for peace and clarity, and allow a deeper intimacy with Christ, right? And bring God closer, open up ourselves. God doesn't want us to clean up. God doesn't want to clean up just our mess, right? He wants us to renew our spirit. Because, like, even now, when I walk into my apartment, it looks different. It looks new, even though I've been here for a while. But just the fact that I moved some things around and cleared it out makes it more open and more welcoming, right? So, in turn, that's the same thing that we need to do. Making room requires intentionality, right? I'm trying to get my words out, and really commit to something. We don't accidentally declutter our lives, right? It takes effort and honesty. Even when, as we're growing up and people are around us, as we get older, our friends circle gets smaller. When we are younger, we want to have all these friends, but over time, we know that, hey, we need to get rid of some of these friends, right? Same thing with furniture. As we get older, it's like, you know what, this we don't want this no more. We don't want this. How come we don't do that spiritually? And I'll be honest, I don't hear a lot of ministers, kind of really speaking about cleaning up ourselves, cleaning up our hearts spiritually, and decluttering ourselves, right? So that way we can make room for God meaning and making choices, that prioritize His presence. We always talk about, blessing this, pray for this, and get stuff within us. But once the stuff that we have in us, how come we're not decluttering it, making less of a mess? So, like John the Baptist said, right? He must increase before I must decrease in John 3:30. When we remove the clutter, we create more space for God's voice. His peace, His direction allows us to be more understanding. The more room we have, right, and the more room we make for God, the more clarity you will hear and you will receive, right? Again, it's just like when you clean up that room or like for me, my apartment over the weekend, just getting rid of stuff just provided a whole better sense around me, right? So how can you all this week, start decluttering and get rid of some of the clutter within your life? Okay, practice ways to declutter that we could declutter spiritually, right? Um, Many people I know, when they wake up in the morning, that's their time, their silent time, their quiet time, their moment with Christ, where they just have that intimate connection. They are silent. They may look like they're not talking, but they're silent. They're praying, and they're just giving themselves to Christ. They don't allow people to come in and disturb them, disturb their peace. And I'll be honest. I know some elders who, if you're disturbing their peace, they're just going to walk away from you, get away from you. And I'm slowly, starting to learn that when people come and clutter your spirit and just be around you, just be a clutter or burden to you. You need to get rid of the clutter, right? We don't need no more junk in our lives. Do we write stuff down, right? Stuff that weighs us down, that inhibits us from surrendering to Christ, surrendering to God. Yes, we all have a busy life. We all get distracted. But this week, write down some of the stuff that you think clutters your life, right? We're not talking about your spouse, okay? You've been married for years and years. We're not talking about them. But we're talking about stuff that really burdens your spirit, that holds you down. Why don't you write down some of the things that you could declutter within your space, whatever it is, whether you have too many tasks going on at one time. Maybe your job has a lot of stuff coming at you. You just need to prioritize. Maybe, it's like a old piece of furniture. Yes, I know you've had it since you were a child, but, you might want to get rid of that, right? It's taking up space. So the same thing with your spirit. Some of the distractions, some of the burdens, some of the worries, some of the bitterness. Oh my goodness, it's like that's one of the biggest clutter that we all have. Like somebody crosses, we just hold that bitterness within us, right? How can we can't get rid of that? So your motivation for this week, I want you to start decluttering your life so we can grow spiritually and be uplifted spiritually. Make more room for Christ to come in. Because now, as I look around my apartment, I'm like, man, it's just me, but it's like I have a whole new room here, more room to walk, crawl, work out, that kind of stuff, right? Same thing for you spiritually. Get rid of some of the declutter in your life, right? Forgiveness, release the grudges and unresolved conflicts. I'm telling you, um, I was bad at it too. We're all still practicing it, right? We're all learning how to forgive. That's bitterness and forgiveness is one of the key things that clutters us. Because we worry about something that happened 20, maybe 30 years ago when somebody crosses us, right? Get rid of that stuff. Don't worry about that stuff. Write it down, pray over it, give it to Christ. So that way you can open up more spiritually. Okay. So as you go throughout this week, I always want to, challenge you and motivate you. What's one thing that you can remove this week to make room for God in your life, right? What's something that you could declutter around you so you can allow more growth for Christ within your life? And I want you to think about it and take that for this week, okay? So again, as always, my name is Deacon Irons here just to motivate you and just, give you some food for thought, give you some action items, right, as we call them, for you to think about and, just ways to declutter and get some of those bitterness, worries and stuff out of your life so you could declutter yourself spiritually. Amen. So as always, here at Unfeigned Faith Ministries, we're never like to leave you nor depart your sight. Again, we're always encouraging you, motivating you, and just uplifting you on this wonderful Monday. That until next time, hold on to your faith. Y'all be blessed and have a fantastic week. And please, please, please out there, be safe. It's a lot of crazy stuff